Hey guys, Corey Smith here, Core Effects. Just want to do a quick video for you guys. A little pre-week analysis for the markets for the week coming up. Go over a little bit of fundamentals, a little bit of technicals, show you what I'm looking for, what I'm watching, and what to look out for this week as far as the news goes. Um, so starting off with the news this week, Sunday night you've got Chinese PMI numbers. Nothing big, no big deal, but the Chinese economy is one of the biggest in the world, so anything fundamentally coming out of their economy is something that's watched by the world. It's really closely correlated with the Aussie New Zealand dollars. Their economies are very interlinked, so they affect each other hand in hand. Not too much going on Monday. Some more, CPI, PMI numbers, retail sales out of Germany, some stuff like that. Nothing earth-shattering, nothing too crazy or anything even worth managing positions around or anything like that. And then starting on late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, we've got the RBA rate statement. So the central bank in Australia is meeting. It's these central bank meetings are the biggest news Forex has to offer because the inflation rates and central banks pretty much are there to control price mainly. A few jobs, but the main thing is to control price, which is the currency of their country, and that meeting is the biggest meeting around what we do here in Forex. Aussie rate's been low, historically low for them at 1.5%, but there hasn't been too much growth. There's some housing market crisis stuff going on over there that they're worried about, so they're not going to be increasing rates. 46 out of 47 of the main economists that were interviewed, asked about it, say they're not going to raise rates. So nothing really look for there. Rate raising, at least the Aussie's been strong. So maybe a little bit of dovish comments coming out of their bank or something like along those lines could weaken the Aussie a little, make some pullback. We'll keep an eye on that though. That's a big event. Be careful holding trades around that. And I'll be looking to trade the Aussie afterwards, but be careful going into it. And you've got PMI numbers out of Germany, pretty much. I mean, out of Great Britain, pretty much throughout the week. You had some more GDP numbers and stuff coming out of Europe. Nothing big. PMI manufacturing numbers out of the U.S. And then the other major event for Tuesday outside of Aussie is New Zealand dollars employment change. This is their unemployment rate, basically their NFP. That could cause some movements in the New Zealand dollar. Keep an eye around that. Going into Wednesday, we've got again more PMI numbers out of the Great Britain, and then the pre-NFP numbers. The typical every Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. U.S. dollar crude inventory levels. This is the oil levels that are held in inventory in the U.S. And obviously, just like everything, supply and demand is how it works. If there's an oversupply, this number's higher. Usually, that means there's a less of a demand for oil, and oil prices will fall. If the numbers have been low, like they have been consistently, they've been much significantly lower than forecasted, then the oil is going to be going up in price because there's more of a demand. There's not much supply. Then you got the Australian trade balance, not too big of a deal. More PMI numbers out of Great Britain. You have 7 a.m. Thursday, another big central bank meeting. So we've got two central bank meetings this week. Really big week so far. The pound has had these rates they haven't been hiked in 10 years, and this is record breaking. With everything with Brexit going on, the central bank's been holding back on really moving to increasing the rates and making any drastic moves with Brexit going on, but inflation's starting to pick up. Chatter between the central bankers have picked up the past few weeks with the possibility of a rate hike in the near future being imminent. They're talking about possibly in November's meeting, not necessarily this week, but any more hawkish comments and any more discussion relating to getting that ball moving a little faster towards hiking rates could be very bullish for the pound this week. So we'll be keeping a big eye on that meeting. I'll be looking to make some trades afterwards, but be careful again going into this meeting with any pound trades, as there's a lot of chop around these central bank meetings. Stop losses get hit very easily. There's slippage on orders. You could have a stop set 30 pips away. Price can jump. Massive orders can push the market. You could get stopped out 70 pips away. So that stop doesn't necessarily protect you around events like this. So be careful around that. Carney speaks afterwards. A lot of the wording there will be what this is all based off of. Then you got retail sales out of Australia. That's also Thursday night. This could, again, this is these prices and these sales and all this has to do with how the economies are doing and what the central banks are going to be reacting according to. They're data driven. So this right here is another good thing to watch. And then Friday we have first CAD's employment rates, how their unemployment levels are doing, and then right into at the same time U.S. dollar NFP. Every first Friday of the month, the U.S. dollar reports our employment numbers. This shows the unemployment rate, which has been historically low. It shows change in numbers of jobs, and it shows the average hourly earnings. This is what the focus has been on lately. The unemployment rate is unbelievable. Change in jobs has been good, but the earnings is not showing up. It's not following suit. This is the average hourly earnings. That pretty much explains what itself. What the average Americans' earnings are per hour with their jobs. The growth in the job market has been working out, but the job earnings haven't been working out. So that's a problem. People aren't making more money. Prices of goods are going up. Cost of living is going up. You're going to have a problem. So this is a number that is being watched very closely, and this needs to start turning up. We need to start having increases. These numbers have been missing a lot, and that's something that our central bank's been focused on, and our economy needs to start picking up on. But yeah, that covers the week here. So we've got NFP, 2 central bank meetings, a bunch of PMI numbers, and some unemployment reports from other countries as well. So this is a very stacked week going into August. Typically very mellow and dead for trading and banking in general. But as you can see, this is a very, very data-driven week. A lot of events going on. There should be some big moves all around the board. U.S. dollar's been getting killed. Hopefully something comes out Friday to help this out a little bit. Aussie dollar's been killing it. Maybe this will reverse them a little bit, or this will fuel the fire to keep burning. But we'll just have to wait and see how this week plays out. Going over to some charts. As you can see, the dollar has been getting crushed pretty much across the board. You can see that the dollar is weak. We have the euro here. It broke this weekly. Blue here for me is weekly areas. Red's daily. You can see this blue weekly resistance was broken a couple weeks ago. Price is just blown out since then. As you see on the daily, this is where the weekly was broken. Came up stalled again. Broke out again. Retested. Broke out again. So we're just making higher highs and higher lows on end, non-stop. Price came back, retested here as I was calling earlier last week, and came back up. And this is pretty much the same story across the dollar pairs. You can see the pound dollars setting higher highs, higher lows, breaking out. See, it doesn't look too different. CAD's been shooting down. The Canadian dollar has been strong with oil prices rallying. U.S. dollar has been weak, so this has been getting crushed. As you can see here, though, we're hitting a weekly trend line on a strong weekly support. You can see price bounced off it pretty well, but then ended up closing with a bearish engulfing. So, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to take a little bit to get price through here, but price rallied back up and then fell right back down to this prior low. So we're sitting down here. Maybe we'll see a low base form until we get some data numbers this week. The dollar yen has been in an uptrend, is now testing that low again. Its trend line's kind of been breached here, but until this low has been broken out, we're still setting higher highs and higher lows, still in an uptrend. That bias changes when this breaks down and sets a new lower low. Then we've got a trend change. We got to wait and see. But as of right now, we're still heading up. And then you got the Aussie dollar. Like I said, it's just been crushing it. You can see here, it broke this weekly level, shot up, stalled out a little bit, and then has now come up to test this weekly level up here. As you can see, support broken, now resistance. Also, we're hitting the 200 SMA. This is a very strong area up here. We could expect a little bit of pullback from the Aussie potentially, but I mean, all arrows are pointing north, so I'm going to stick with north until then, until I see something differently. You can see this structure that was broken came down to retest it, and now looks like it wants to pull higher. This was a trade I was looking at earlier last week. I called for this to happen, but we haven't seen much bullish continuation after this bounce here. A lot of wicks on either end, so price is pretty unsure what it wants to do in here. New Zealand dollar's basically going to be the same chart. This was a little bit more bullish, but we're looking at the same stuff on both. The Swiss franc's been super weak, so I don't even want to pull up that chart. That's a whole nother story, but another two I've been keeping an eye on. New Zealand yen, I called this last week. We saw this broke of this high here. Price shot up, set a new high, came back and retested, and has been sitting right on this prior resistance turn support now. And as I had projected, I projected it would come back to here, hit here, reverse, come back up to test the high. And as you can see, price is still stalling, not really doing it. We go to the Aussie yen, which is the same setup, very similar. And this is the trade I actually did enter. And you can see price broke out to a new high, came and retraced. Let's see where it retraced to. Right on the 61.8. We had some candlestick patterns in here. I got long on this hammer actually before this trend line was breached. But this support is still holding. I got in at this hammer here with my stop below this swing low. So we'll see if price is able to reverse up. My initial target is going to be this prior high here. Or if not, it's going to roll over and we'll see what happens from there. But one other pair I'm looking at for a potential setup now is Aussie Swiss. As you can see, been making perfect series of higher highs, higher low, higher high. Now what are we looking for? A new higher low. We got Fibonacci out here. We've got one area here, 38.2. You can see there's a little bit of stalling in there. And then 50 to 61.8 is ideal. Right around this prior broken resistance turn support. If we get a nice little pullback to one of these zones, look for a reversal, enter long, initial target, the prior swing high, good risk to reward, and we're on our way. So these are a couple pairs I'm looking at going into the week. Give a little quick breakdown of the dollar crosses. Yeah, just wanted to start doing these pre-week analysis videos, give you guys an idea of what's going on with the news for the week and what pairs I got my eyes on. As you know, I follow strong trending currencies, so that's what I'm going to be marking up here. I'm not going to be looking at the choppy range-bound charts. There's no money for me to be made there. But I also trade around the news events, so there's potential for a lot of trades to be made this week. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you like my videos, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and feel free to message me if you're looking for some training. Go over more in detail what all these economic reports are, why they matter, how to keep an eye on the overall stability and instability of economies, and exactly how I trade my technical approach to these markets. Thank you guys. Have a great day.